This is the game that I've been working on as a part-time solo indie dev for over 2 years now, where you return to an abandoned game project, only to find that the NPCs have kept working on the game while you were gone, and it's up to you to work with the NPCs to restore the game and the world they live in, or choose to plunge them further into chaos. I've also been recording my journey of working on this game the entire time, just to see how far the game has come along. I just posted a devlog like last week, and now we're back. We're back again. So this is gonna be kind of a different video than all the other ones I posted. I would like to just try something new simply. That's all. That's my entire justification. I've been posting devlogs on this channel for almost, I think, like a year and a half at this point, almost 2 years. And I go pretty long in between devlogs, you'll notice. You know, sometimes it's a couple weeks, sometimes it's a couple months. But I would just like to have some more kind of like casual videos where I maybe give like a couple little updates, things I'm working on, and just game stuff, game development, my game. I used to stream every week the development of the game. I haven't done that in a couple months just because I haven't really wanted to. I might go back to streaming at some point, but on stream I would catch up with everyone, be able to share some of like the smaller progress and stuff that I was making on the game. I would still, you know, like to just like chat about games, talk about, I don't know, whatever I want. I think I'm just gonna kind of try this format out for a little while and see if I like it or if I get burned out and abandon it. I just want to like post more stuff on this channel. I don't really want to do tutorials or game dev advice because who am I to tell you that stuff? So yeah, we're just gonna kind of hang out. I know most of the people who watch this channel are also game devs, so I don't know. Maybe you'll find this interesting. I always just like wish I had more clips of progress on the game and stuff I was working on, because I don't know, I think it's just like cool to see how far a game has come and also just how much effort has gone into it. I feel like even like I forget just how much time and effort I've spent working on things in the project. But yeah, this week I have been doing a couple things. The first one is I actually have been fixing all of the spawn rates in the game because everything was a chaotic mess. A lot of this was my fault. I kind of just implemented the grid spawning mechanic, and by that I mean just like the ability for the game to spawn items on the grid. I set this up a long time ago and it worked perfectly fine. However, the way I was handling the probability and just like the amount of stuff that was spawning on the map was completely insane. There was like 2 different things that were pulling probability for some reason. I don't even know if one of them was getting used, but I also had everything split up into different scripts as well. I had one script for each zone that I was spawning things in, and for the most part, like, it looked okay when I was spawning things, but like I had literally no idea what was going on. I had no idea what any of the numbers I really had were actually correlating to. I was just going off vibes. So I fixed that because I didn't want to have another issue with like the crab spawning issue. In the process of fixing that, I still, kind of had to go bounce back and forth between some ideas. At one point, I wasn't spawning like anything on the map. This was just a bug. I fixed that and then it spawned way too many things on the map. But eventually I was able to kind of condense everything into one place that holds all of the probabilities of items spawning on the map, and I just have a better way of tracking the percentage of tiles on my grid actually that are occupied with stuff, and I have now also a cap to make sure that there's not too much stuff spawning on the grid, because you'll have probably noticed if you've watched any of the other more recent devlogs that I've done, or I guess just the one more recent one I did, there was like way too much stuff at a certain point. That's because there's no cap on spawning, and in theory the NPCs should be like cutting down trees and stuff and picking up items a little bit more than they probably were. That's just one thing I've been working on. I'm also trying to now make it so I can track all of the bugs that are spawning in one place as well, because same issue, they're just all over the place. That's how we ended up with the crab situation. There was also a snake situation. Not as bad though. And then the other thing that I've kind of been, working on and thinking about, updating the Steam page. I updated the Steam page a couple months ago. People maybe didn't really notice, with a couple new screenshots and also just a way better description with
hopefully no typos like last time. Yeah, I had a typo someone pointed out that was in there for like a year and a half, where instead of the word rolls, I used the other spelling of it, meaning bread rolls. Yeah, I never noticed that for like almost 2 years. It's fine, it happens. And I also kind of was working on categorization of the game. I had some tags on there that were not really representative of the game, you know, at the moment, and the game is just a hobby. I only work on it part-time. I'm kind of just figuring out the gameplay, I feel like, as I build the game. At this point, I have a much better idea of the gameplay because it's actually built that I did in the past. So puzzles actually was one of the tags I had on there for a while, and I had to remove that because, yeah, I had like a brief moment in time where I thought I was gonna have puzzles in this game. I just realized I wasn't really talented at designing them. I, you know, have a lot of fun playing puzzle games. Not my specialty for designing them. And they also just didn't really fit into the narrative and feeling that I wanted for the game. I wanted this to be more of almost like a simulation sandbox style game, but that got me also thinking about, you know, like categorization of the game. This has been something I've kind of, you know, struggled with, bounced around this idea a lot. So I've called this game like a couple different things. So a lot of times when I compare my game to other games, I'll say, you know, Stardew Valley like game, Animal Crossing like game. I mean, I did this in the last devlog actually that I literally posted a week ago. As I was updating the Steam page and kind of looking at, you know, and thinking about how my game actually plays, it's a little closer actually to more of like a colony simulation style game. My game is really focusing on the community kind of aspect of the game, and there's not going to be any like farming or anything like that because I still want the player to not have, you know, complete control over everything. The idea of the game is that the NPCs are sentient, they've been building the game, and you're supposed to kind of work more so with them. So it's, you know, not fully sandbox style game. Something like RimWorld is probably more comparable to the gameplay I kind of have for this game. I guess maybe like a mix between RimWorld and Animal Crossing? I don't know. I just kind of had trouble explaining exactly what the genre of this game is because it's kind of a combination of things that shouldn't exist almost. Yeah, and then the other thing too that I have been kind of thinking about is in the past I have called this game a dark cozy game or a psychological horror game. I just don't think this is really quite a psychological horror game. I don't intend to make this game super scary. There's not gonna be, you know, jump scares or anything like that. And it's more so that the game is going to be unsettling. Like, I want to have moments of the game, you know, make the player feel a little uncomfortable, but I don't know, I'm not like actively trying to have jump scares and shit like that. The game though is rated M by Steam. It's not really for gore or violence. Well, okay, never mind, maybe the violence. You can't kill everybody, okay? I am allowing you to be a psychopath in this game. The horror is you. And the other thing is me calling this a cozy game. And the reason that I've been calling this a cozy game was just because the mechanics of the game are, you know, pretty similar to that of other games that people do kind of categorize as cozy games. However, cozy is not a genre or anything like that. It's, you know, a completely subjective referring to like a game. You know, I think anything can technically be a cozy game, depending on the person. You know, League is my favorite cozy game. But that aside, you know, I've been calling my game a cozy game just because, well, like I said, one, the mechanics, and also just kind of, you know, like the vibe, the pacing of the game. I do think this is a little more on the, like, survival aspect, I guess, of a cozy game, because my game is definitely a little more, you know, like, intense, though. I think you do need to, like, keep your stats up as well as help keep the NPC's stats up, otherwise they die. However, dying in the game doesn't really matter that much. So I see a lot of people online, I don't know, like animosity or like just opinions about calling things cozy games and like cozy games themselves. I've seen some stuff online where people are like cozy games are lazy games that lack a lot of depth. And they're, yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot of like weird stuff I've seen online and weird like feelings people have about calling things cozy games. So I've been calling this a cozy game. I'm gonna kind of stop doing that because the game's not that cozy. It might have been a couple months ago, but I don't really think at this point it is. So I don't know, that's just like a long-winded rant of me saying I have no idea how to categorize this game anymore, but like game's not coming out for at least a little bit longer. We have some time to figure that out. But yeah, I updated the Steam page. I need to update it again because all of the screenshots that I posted were absolutely horrible, honestly. And at this point I have better ones, so I'm gonna be working, hopefully by the time this video comes out I'll have updated it. But when I did update the Steam page, for those of you who aren't familiar with Steam and how it works, when you put your game on Steam, you have to tag your game to basically help Steam, show your game to people that would be interested in it, So Steam will have you categorize your game, and then based off of these categorizations that you give, it will recommend to you other games that are similar to your game. So this is a really good way for, me as a developer to tell if I am categorizing my game correct. And so this time when I updated the tags, Steam gave me new recommendations actually for games that were similar to my game. And, every time I do this on Steam, of course I want to check out the games that Steam is recommending are related to my game. And there's actually one game that it put as the #1 recommended game that was the most similar to my game. And I had never heard of this game before, but it is called Afterplace. And I first looked at the Steam page for this and was like, I don't really see how this is related to my game, but regardless, you have my attention. Now, this game is on Steam, however, it seems like it's intended to be a mobile game more so than a Steam game. So I went and I bought the game on mobile. How is it similar to my game? What are you doing? Like, what are you recommending to me, Steam? Also, obviously, like, anything Steam recommends to me that's related to my game is probably a game that I'm gonna like, hopefully. So yeah, I checked out this game and I just wanted to bring it up because I'd never heard of this game before. It was also made just by a solo developer over 4 years, as far as I can tell. This game, the gameplay is not similar to my game whatsoever. It's much more combat focused. This game is so weird. I love it. The vibes of this game too, I was like, I get it. I get why Steam recommended this. The dialogue, the characters, just the world itself are so weird and slightly unhinged. I don't know how to describe it, honestly. Playing this game on my phone, I don't know, it's pretty cool. I definitely recommend checking it out. That was kind of just my little spiel, my little thoughts, my little update for the week. I'm gonna just have some more videos and stuff because I feel like it. And yeah, hopefully, let me know you guys' thoughts. Anything I talked about, I don't know. Do you have any animosity towards the word cozy? Okay, but I will see you in the next video. Bye!